All right. Not exactly sure how well my mic is working right now. Last time I tried to use it, people said that it was really fuzzy, but I hope that everyone can hear me. If you can't, then just let me know. Right? All right, so I'm going to be checking back on the chat to see if anyone has any questions or comments. My internet is a little slow, so I'm going to be trying my best with this. I apologize if I suddenly go quiet at some points in time. I'm not used to using the mic, so I mean, unless somebody asks me a question that I'm and just talk a lot about, I usually will be pretty quiet. Yeah, I'm using the mic that comes with the computer, the built-in mic. I don't have a mic of my own. I mean, I might around somewhere, but I mean, even if I did, I have no idea how to use it. Good. So if anyone has any questions or comments, just let me know. Right now, I don't really have much to talk about besides what I'm currently working on right now. I don't really know, be interested in hearing about. So, I mean, have something you want me to talk about, just let me know. And I will talk about it if I can. I mean, there's a few things that I don't really like to talk about because it gets people upset. I have strange views on life sometimes. But if you want to hear me talk about anything or yeah, not really good with talking with people a lot of the time, but I'm trying my best here. Hi, John Angelo. I probably remember you. I've talked with a lot of people, so I could be mixing you up with somebody else. So, I probably remember you, but I could be remembering someone else and to my conversation with them. Um, but it's always nice to see familiar people and stuff and talk with them. Hope everyone else is doing well. Very rocky around here. I have some family that lives in California, and California is really struggling right now with the fires. It's pretty bad down there. And then around where I'm living right now, there was a lot of wind and a few power outages. Good night, Asher. Um, well, it depends what you mean by that, Ricky. They've if you're meaning how long they've been around according to the lore or according to just how long they've actually been around. Um, According to the lore, they're supposed to have been around for um, let's see if I can remember. I want to say over 500 years. Um, According to the artwork and the group and stuff, they've been around for, let's see, created the original concept when I was a freshman, I want to say, no, sophomore in high school. That was quite a few years ago. I graduated from high school. So, yeah. So they've been around for, I want to say, 3 years at least. Welcome to the live stream, Cat Girl. So currently, I'm really into watching Quantum Leap with my dad. I don't know if any of you guys know that movie, but I mean, it's really good. I'm surprised at how much I'm enjoying it. One of the most recent episodes that we just watched was about a, and uh, I was really touched how it turned out that the girl that he helped um, ended up staying with this really nice cafe owner guy, and and originally, according to the timeline, he was supposed to have died when he heard the news that his son was killed in battle. It turns out that her being around, him changing the storyline to have her be around, actually saved his life because she probably helped him through the hard time. Those kind of things always really touch me, uh, make me happy. It's always nice to hear good news like that. I'm currently working on an old image that I had drawn traditionally a while ago of a character from one of my stories I haven't yet put onto DeviantArt. Supposed to be the nine-tailed fox from Naruto, his sister. Uh, like she, according to the lore of the story, she had a village because she she saw this man get his fortune read by this one lady who said that he would have a beautiful wife and have many kids. Uh, and she decided to test him and found him worthy, so gave him her daughters, or daughter, I guess. She split her daughter into three different beings to test him, and if that makes any sense. But then he passed her test and married her daughter, and ends up that Hidan and Kakuzu come in and kill off her clan later on in the story. And she gets really, really pissed at that. But it turns out that two kids end up surviving, and she decides to keep watch over them. I do not have her as the main character in the story. She's more of a supporting side character that just watches from afar. But I do I do have the two kids, Nagai and Shirashi, as um the main characters. And it's interesting story, but I kind of it was one of my early on stories, and if anyone has ever read any of my really early stories, they consistent. Um, when I first started off writing, I tended to not really stay consistent with my stories. I'd have a character that would one minute be a werewolf, and the next moment be a mermaid werewolf. If that makes any sense. Um, my stories, just generally, the characters did not really fit. They weren't quite Mary Sue's, but they had way too many different things. Like it made sense. It didn't. I guess the one example that I could give is with uh, her clan was able to transform into wolves because their uh, their grandmother here is a wolf. Um, but they also, because of chakra, had spirit animals. And so, along with the turning into a wolf, they could turn into another animal that would have elemental attributes. Like if they turned into a dragon, their elemental attribute would be fire. If they turned into a, a let's see, a fairy, then their elemental attribute would be light. Um, other just a bunch of different random things like that, and it got to be so complicated with the story that I just dropped it. I still enjoy the characters and stuff, so I'm keeping the characters around just in case I want to go back and rewrite the story at some point. But I mean, a lot of my old stories turned out like that, where just the characters would be way too complicated and have too many things, and their personalities would never stay consistent. It got to be too much at one point. I have hundreds of stories, really old stories, uh, from from I want to say it was third grade on until middle school that are all stories that I have dropped because the characters are way too OP or too confusing or just changed up with the yeah. It's very confusing. Um, yeah, I think the most confusing story I've ever had was a Naruto spin-off that I first created when I first got into the anime. Um, but it was this girl who was found by Kiba, who was a werewolf, and throughout the story, like keep in mind I wrote this when I was, I want to say, in fourth grade. But throughout the story, she changed from being a werewolf to being a mermaid to back to being a werewolf, then to being like this were dragon creature, then to being like everything, and then eventually just becoming a god. Boundaries when it came to my stories. And I am very ashamed that I ever wrote something like that. I don't even remember what the character was called. All I remember is one of her, I want to say, 7 children was named Rose. Remembered. Oh, and apparently Rose married Sorcery, a scorpion guy from the Akatsuki. Ugh. That was interesting, to say in the least. Think about that time I was also obsessed with Datara. He liked to explode things. This is all really, really old stuff that happened to me a long time ago. Um, I try not to, if I can help it. Anyways, I apologize for the rant. Anyone have any other questions? Um, basically, uh, with Kiji Kaioku being the hot side of the spectrum, I've always wanted to have the cold side of the spectrum being created. And so I begged and begged Chi to let there be a second um, sister species. And eventually she agreed to it. And as long as she was okay with things, uh, then I basically have full control over the Subtalians, which is nice in my opinion. But gets a little hectic at times. It's kind of hard to deal with uh, being a moderator for one species and founder for another. And excuse me, but I'm gonna have to hide that comment, Chris. Um, but one thing I like and one thing I don't like about DeviantArt, I guess the biggest thing that I always love about DeviantArt is the way that people get together and can support each other, make friends and stuff. I know that before DeviantArt, I was pretty lonely. Most of my friends actually are literally on I the only friends I have IRL is literally my sister, if that counts, my husband, and the rest of the other people who are IRL live too far away at the moment, um, or are old high school buddies who I never really see anymore. Everyone else who's really good friends of mine is literally all online, and surprisingly, everyone's on the East Coast, which really sucks. Because then if I want to hang out with somebody or invite them to something, then the only way they can come is if they fly. It really makes me sad. Kind of makes me wish I was on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast, so uh, have to go all the way to the other side, see people. It automatically took out your comment because you said the B word. I don't think it likes people saying bad words on the chat. But I think the thing that I don't like about DeviantArt the most is the admins. There are a lot of people who just join DeviantArt, like they make just this throwaway email and join DeviantArt just to spam or troll people that they don't like, or just random people on DeviantArt. And it really gets obnoxious when, like, just recently, just today, I got a message from one of my friends on DeviantArt, who I watch, saying that there was this pedophile on DeviantArt and messaging people and trying to do all this really awful stuff. And I mean, yeah, there's a lot of people like that that easily get on DeviantArt and easily start, which is really awful. And like the only thing that you can really do is report them, and then their account gets banned, and then they just make another account. Yes, there is IP banning, but DeviantArt doesn't like to do that because what if there's another person, yeah, who's a totally legit person who can't access DeviantArt anymore because the other person screwed it up for them and got that area IP banned? I mean, I could be thinking about this the wrong way, but I think that's the main reason why DeviantArt doesn't just automatically IP ban people. And it's really hard to report people like that to cops because, I mean, as I said, most of my friends are on the East Coast. If something happens to one of my friends, I can't do anything about it because, I mean, even if I talk to the police around here, they can't do anything. It's in a totally different state, or sometimes even a totally different country. And I know that there's a lot of people on DeviantArt even who have been dealing with a lot of things, who have posted journals about suicide and stuff. And that gets really sad because the most thing that you can do is just verbally and try to help them get through it. And I mean, there's not much else you can do. You can't really be there for them in person. I mean, it's really creepy to ask somebody for their address. I've had so many issues. I have a few friends who I've asked for their addresses because I want to send them something in the mail, and they can't. They either are too afraid to give it to me, or they can't because of family, or just fear. And I understand that. I don't to attempt to do anything like that. Um, but it makes me sad because then I have this gift that I want to give them and I can't. And it's the same with a lot of other people who a lot of things. They can't get the support from people because everyone is just online. It's not an in-person person you can just hug or talk to. There's even people like I know I myself, it's taken me a lot of courage to use the mic for this live stream. I do not like it when people are like knowing about me. But I've realized I have to get past my fears of that. And it's so much easier for me to sit here and talk to people like this instead of just having a silent live stream where people can't hear a thing because for some reason the music never goes through, um, or some other thing. But yeah, I guess that's the thing that I don't like about DeviantArt the most is just the ease of criminal access. I guess that's the easiest way to put it. Um, any other questions? Your story is a bit too long. I'm gonna save that for another day. But I mean, I already wrote a journal about it on DeviantArt, um, and I've already really talked about that kind of stuff. And all in all, I'm just tired of just people getting on sites and harassing people, innocent people who sometimes have no idea how to deal with this type of stuff. I mean, the internet is wonderful, but it can also be very, uh, for lack of a better word, savage. I hope I didn't like chase off anyone with that huge rant. Well, besides Chris, does anyone have questions or comments? Um, I do have a few other artwork pieces that I need to work on. So if anyone is bored of me, this character of mine, I can switch on to something else. I have a couple dragons. I have a ferret. I have another wolf. I have kind of like this horseish creature. I have a few people. One of the people is very sketchy, so it can show off my art progress, like how I draw pictures. Anyone have any questions of how I do my art? Um, I mean, I'm kind of showing how I do my line work right now. Good night, Chris. Honestly, though, I'm usually a very quiet person, so I mean, if nobody has any questions or comments, I'm probably just gonna sit here in silence, unless I think of something to say, um, some kind of comment to make about something. Otherwise, generally, I'm pretty quiet. Uh, some might say it's just me focusing on something. Personally, I'm just quiet because I say, um, at least nothing that I can think of. I'm probably going to be live streaming for at least 2 hours here. It's already been 30 minutes. I'm planning on shutting down at 10. It's 7:30 for me right now. Okay, so I have Kaze, who you know, Cat Girl. I also have Carson, one of my characters from Legend of Kree. I need to look back on reference of his outfit because the outfit that I have for him currently is inaccurate. Fine art for him, and all of a sudden have to redo the entire outfit because I did it wrong. And then I have another one that I, uh, but yeah, this is one of them. It's very sketchy right now, but I don't remember who it was supposed to be. I think it's Michael, but don't quote me on that. It's a random person. Um, but here's Kaze. Uh, he should be easy to do because he's very covered with the cloak. But Carson is a lot more fun. I enjoy doing this. I sketched this out in pen, uh, which I'm very proud with how it turned out. Very pixelated though when I zoom in, so it's probably small. Let me see. Oh yeah, it's really small. I'm gonna up the quality. But yeah, I really enjoy how Carson turned out in this picture. He's one of the generals in Legend of Kree. He's Taramus's uh, main general, leader of the army. I don't exactly remember what kind of personality I had for him. All I remember is that he's pretty serious, but can be, I don't want to say a trickster, but very catty at times, I guess is the best way to put it. So after I get the head all finished here with the line art, then I'll erase the sketch underneath it so that you guys can see how exactly it looks. Just the line art bit. So I'm not sure exactly, but I noticed that my previous live stream just recently, when I went back to view it, I didn't hear myself on it. So I don't know if the audio and you could only hear the audio if you watch this live, or if I just didn't have the mic on, or I mean, not the mic, but the volume up enough. Not exactly sure what went on there. Um, I mean, if you're watching this after the live stream, then just comment below you heard me. Um, I mean, I'm definitely gonna check back on it and see, but not exactly sure. Uh, I mean, if it doesn't save the audio, oh well. Uh, if it does, then I guess great. Welcome back, Ricky. Welcome to the live stream, Pie Flavor. How are you doing this fine after night noon thing? Awesome is good. Wow, I have 5 people watching. That I think that's about the max that I've ever had at once is 5. I think it might be 6. That's my max. And that's awesome. Uh, I can't wait to see some more of RFS. So far lately, I've been doing pretty good. Um, yeah, I mean, all's well that ends well. I mean, not that anything has ended, but I mean, you get the gist. I do plan on going back to do Legend of Kree at some point. Um, Definitely. I think the main reason why I stopped doing it was because my art style had changed so drastically. I know that I am completely booked for art for the rest of this year. Once this year ends, I want to say, once it becomes 2018, I'll definitely have a lot of my art finished up, um, and start working on other things. Um, One of the big flaws that I have had while growing up is I would work on something and get an idea for working on something, and then suddenly, after a while, start working on something else. And then I would be like, oh, well, I have all this extra time because I'm so fast at doing these two things. Let me add another thing on there. And so I would get all these different projects that I was working on. And recently, that hasn't been working out for me. I still have the same amount of workload as I had when I was younger, but for some reason, I just can't keep up with it very well. And so, I mean, I have all this stuff, all these projects and stuff, and not enough time. And so I'm trying my hardest to work on the things that I really need to get done, especially like the calendar or things that I need to do before the start of the new year. And then once I finish up with all that stuff, then I will have the ability to work on um, other things. And so once the new year comes around, then I'll definitely have the time to be able to work on other things. Um, so I'm definitely going to get back to Legend of Kree at some point when I have the time and energy to be able to keep up with doing all the artwork that it requires. Um, but I'm probably not going to be uploading to DeviantArt. Uh, once Because my art style is definitely changing, and so once I get the ability to start working on it again, I'm probably going to be uploading to Webtoons, um because that gets a lot more traffic than DeviantArt when it comes to webcomics and stuff like that. And that's mainly what I need, is the motivation to continue working on it and all that. And so, I mean, once I start uploading on Webtoons and stuff with Legend of Kree, that'll probably end up taking up most of my time that I probably won't be able to work on much more except for the occasional project or something that I want to. Or working on my my other stories that are in text form, not art form. Let's see, any more questions? Oh, I have a question for you guys. I heard something about Kermit the Frog being banned or something. I mean, not his image or anything, but like the voice actor for him, because the voice actor was getting really depressed and stuff and was starting to make Kermit depressed as well. And so they canceled him from being Kermit the Frog because it was just not working out anymore or something. I don't know if anyone else has heard about that or what, but I mean, I'm not a Muppets fan at all. My stepdad is, but I mean, when I heard about that, I was like, what happened? Like, I mean, there's so many depressed people in this world. It's crazy. I went through a lot of depression myself. I mean, I still go through it, but it's definitely not as bad as before. But I mean, there's so many more depressed people in this world. It's really sad. Yeah, I don't really news it at all either. Like most of the time if I'm learning about news, it's usually because I didn't change the channel on the radio. Um, I usually, if I'm driving down the street, I'll have the radio on and listening to music. And if it goes to commercial or a song that I don't like comes on, I'll change the channel. I could be driving and just absent-mindedly don't change the channel. And if the news comes on, then I hear something. But I mean, we don't have television where I'm at currently. So most of the time I don't hear anything. A surprising fact that not a lot of people know about me, which will probably make people question my living situation while growing up. I didn't know that 9/11 happened until I want to say my junior year of high school, which is 3 years ago. Um, yeah, I think only few select, not even like even my dad, when he heard about that, was very surprised. He's like, "What?" um, but yeah, I mean, literally all throughout middle school or high school, when somebody would say something about 9/11 or anything controversial like that, I had no idea what they were talking about. My dad would watch a TV show called Fringe, and I he turned to me one time while watching it and said, "You know how this is an alternate dimension? The two towers are still standing." I just gave him a look like, "I have no idea what you're talking about." and, and he didn't realize that I didn't understand until a while later when my science teacher has had a tradition of on 9/11 he would start talking about what happened and would show videos and we would do a report on it, and that's the first time I ever learned of it. And I was like, what is this? When did this happen? And everyone stared at me like I was insane. But I was totally serious. I had no idea what they were talking about. There's a lot of things in this world. I have no idea. I'm just really ignorant about things, admittedly. But yeah, I guess that's about my life there. Um, yeah, I guess another big thing, I mean, I knew it happened, but I had no idea about the details, was about Pearl Harbor. I didn't learn about that until high school either. Mainly because that one, my parents didn't want me knowing anything about that type of stuff. They tried to keep me away from that for some reason. But I mean, I knew about it, I just didn't know the details. But yeah. All right. So since I got a little farther on this, I'm gonna hide the sketch parts. That's what it looks like so far. Honestly, though, I think that the sketch looks better. It's kind of awkward looking. Mm, I don't know. Maybe it'll look better a little later on. Do you like Kermit pie flavor? Honestly, not that big of a fan of the Muppets, but I mean, I don't hate on people that like things that I don't like. I mean, everyone has their own opinion on things. Um, I heard something about uh, there being a like Easter egg of Kermit on one of the Disney. I think it was in Ariel. There was like a Kermit the Frog reference or something. I was watching some YouTube video. They were talking about it. I don't know. All right, more silence. Does anyone else have any questions or comments for me? I mean, I don't really have too much of an idea of anything else to say right now. Something might come to me later. But I mean, if anyone else has any ideas of stuff or something. are you drawing? I always love knowing what other people are drawing. Okay, I need to figure out how exactly his outfit is supposed to look. So give me a moment. I'm gonna search up a picture of something online. More Ignis. Ignis is fun to draw, admittedly. I can never draw curly hair. I am really bad with curly hair. I can draw wavy and I can draw straight, like really curly hair. I have such an issue drawing. Okay. I need to find a good picture of this guy, so that I can look at good reference. Oh my gosh. I am having issues with the internet. All right. I'm sorry for the wait, people. I'll be back to drawing in just a moment. Aha. Okay. Okay. So the Royal Guards of Taramis, actually get their outfit inspiration from Emil from Tales of Symphonia. I am trying not to copy his outfit exactly, but I remember that the outfit was fairly similar. So, trying to fix this here and just give a general. Okay. I am really good at drawing straight lines, as you can see. That was sarcasm. Okay. Okay, this is a lot better. Okay. Ooh, okay. I have a question for you all. Which do you think sounds better? Spontaneously combust or combusting spontaneously? It's literally a random question. It has nothing to do with anything that I could possibly be writing or drawing. I'm just honestly curious. I'm actually not using a mouse. I'm using one of those touchpad things. Um, I cannot draw with a mouse or a tablet for the life of me. I can't. I literally have to draw with my finger. Um, with the mouse pad. Uh, it is very shaky when I do it free-handed. Um, except for when I'm on my usual computer. This is my husband's computer that I've been borrowing here for a while because my computer broke, as some of you might know. But yeah, I I honestly don't know what happened with it. It just suddenly just stopped working. Um, hopefully, I can either get it fixed or get a new one or something. I don't know. probably won't happen anytime soon. But yeah, I I use a touchpad when drawing. Most of the time, I just use the line tool, and then I'll use the eraser to narrow it down. Although that's actually a new technique that I've been using, is using the eraser. Before, when I started out drawing, I would literally just use the line tool and make such sharp lines and stuff. I would never narrow out the lines like I do now. And I don't know if that would be called an amateur's mistake, or if that would be called a just me being lazy and just not wanting to properly work on things and take the extra time. I guess that's one big difference between the old me and how I used to draw and how I draw now is before I was not as skilled and not as fast. I am a bit faster now, but I'm also as well slower. Um, and yes, that doesn't make any sense, but that's because I put it in the wrong way of um, explaining it. I'm faster at drawing things I'm familiar with, but all in all, the pictures take me a lot longer to flesh out because I put a lot more work into them than I used to. I'm pretty sure that House is using his phone. He usually uses his phone nowadays. I think ever since I started borrowing his computer, he really hasn't touched it all that much, which in a way is good, but is also kind of um, rude of me. I should really let him have his computer back sometime now and again. I mean, I use it so often to talk with people, and I mean, oops, if I'm not using the computer, then I have to use his phone because he and I share a phone. Um, I no longer have my own phone because my parents took me off their plan when he and I became homeless, and I was borrowing his phone for things for the longest of time. And now I'm borrowing his computer. And so it's just like either I borrow his computer or I borrow his phone. And I'm pretty sure he doesn't want me borrowing his phone. Illuminati confirmed. I remember I used to watch some artists live stream and they'd have their mic on, and occasionally they would just suddenly go silent. First thought I had was, did their mic suddenly cut out? So I'm kind of afraid to just suddenly go silent because I'm afraid that people will think that my mic cut out or something. But I mean, at the same time, it's just like, how can I just not go silent? I mean, if I have nothing to talk about. So give me questions, people, or something. I don't know. I want to keep on talking, even though my mouth kind of hurts. Ignoring the mouth. The mouth doesn't matter. I don't have work for another couple days, which I cry about. Confirmation. At least the live stream is available on mobile. Or mobile, however people pronounce it. Tomato, tomato. I've literally only met one person, I want to say, who says it tomato, and that's my grandma. Like everyone else says it tomato. Now I'm starting to wonder. People who say tomato, they also say potato. People who say tomato, do they also say potato, or do they say potato? Now I'm just confusing myself. Are you sure that somebody's being abused? Because if they are, then I mean, yes, definitely call the cops. But I mean, if the cops are called and then you have to be a witness, and if there was no abusing happening, it was just yelling or something, then I mean, I don't want you to get in trouble, but also I don't hurt. I mean, I guess it could just be the same type of thing as when we called the cops when we were homeless and those people started yelling and stuff on the street, and we called them about people yelling. I mean, you could always just call the cops and say, "Hey, there's people yelling in the other room, and I think that somebody might be being abused." They'll just ask for your name and location and ask you to stay on the phone until the cops get there. Is that enough? I don't know if that's enough lining. Eh, it looks enough. I don't know. I kind of sound tired to myself, like very drowsy and groggy. Do I sound okay to you guys? I don't know. I feel like I have a really weird voice. Real life questions, huh? Okay, I'm gonna be right back, guys. All right, I'm back. Ow. I'm in pain. Nice try. Yin and yang? Which yin and yang? I have a bunch of yin and yang type characters. Pokey? Okay. Um, oh, you mean Deccan and Azella. Um, or did you mean the Flag of Lane Sire? Well, unfortunately, I have way too many pictures of Isella at the moment, and I'm currently needing to do pictures of characters that I have barely any art of. Um, like Carson here, I want to say he has like 2 pictures from what I can recall. One of them is done by me and doesn't really even show too much of what he looks like. Um, the other one is done by somebody else who had no idea what he looked like. And so I really, most of these pictures that I have here, um, up here at the top, I really need to get those done of people because I need examples of my characters. I don't know. I'm weird. I like to have enough examples of my characters that if somebody wants to draw them, then they have enough reference to be able to draw them correctly. I don't know. I'm really liking this new kind of sticker-like style that I have, um, with the thicker lines and everything. Do you like this new style, or is it kind of awkward, or is there anything you think I could change about it? Um, or something? I don't know. I thought a Nephilim was angel demon hybrid. All right, if you say so. Um, I just remember playing a video game once. I don't remember which one. I don't want to say Devil May Cry because I know that's wrong. At least I'm pretty sure it's wrong. But it was one of those type of video games. And the main character was like half demon, half human, and they called him a Nephilim or something. I don't know. I could be remembering it wrong. I think they refer to half demons as Nephilims too. I think the part about drawing humans I hate the most is the arms. As you notice, I've been avoiding the arms, kind of. And I'm probably going to continue avoiding them for a bit here. Knowing me. Oh, I just realized I went silent again. Um, the Nephilim of Nephilims. Oh yeah, toes. I used to hate toes. Nowadays, I'm pretty okay with toes, but I mean, I don't usually draw toes. And when I do, they're hidden enough. I just I just did, didn't I? Um, they're usually hidden enough that I don't have to worry about it. Fingers, I still hate drawing. I usually leave fingers and claws and that type of stuff for last. Um, but have too much of an issue. I just hate drawing them. Um, but arms, for some reason, I can draw arms usually fine when it's traditional. That's why most of my sketches and stuff are all traditional drawings, is I don't really mind drawing things traditionally, and I'm a lot faster drawing them traditionally. But drawing, especially, oh my gosh, I can't even explain it. But drawing arms, I just hate it. But who knows? I haven't yet drawn arms in this new sticker style. So, I mean, I might actually start enjoying it. I'm just putting it off because I know that I hate it. No, I'm just gonna leave that. Yeah, I'm pretty bad at doing hands, but I mean, I don't really hate doing hands. I just hate doing feet. Like, look at these feet. I hate doing feet. And I hate doing crotches. Feet and crotches. I hate doing them. I think it's easier for me to do female crotches than male crotches. Hate doing male crotches. I feel so awkward doing them too. uh, I don't know. I mean, I grew up with a pure mind. And then when I got older and got into high school, I started having to deal with things. And my goodness, that changed really fast. But feel awkward drawing the crotches. I don't know, it could just be me, but foreshortening? Okay, I'm sorry. I'm weird and don't know certain terms, so you're gonna have to explain what foreshortening is to me. Like I probably know it by a different name or something. And then you'll explain it to me and I'll be like, oh, durr. I thought you went to bed. Go to bed, Chris. Oh no, I'm going on to the arms now. Wish me luck, everyone. No, I remember when I first started doing arms and I first started learning with the muscles and stuff. I drew arms backwards. It was so awkward because I'm like, what am I doing wrong? I'm doing all the muscle toning and stuff, but it looks so weird. It took me forever to learn that I was drawing arms backwards. I still occasionally do it, and I realize it when I'm almost done with the arm, and then I'm like, no, because I have to redo everything. Ugh, this looks awful. Yeah, light and perspective. I usually, when I work on my art and stuff, what I usually do is I will work on the pose first, and I'll decide on the pose and all that. And I just decided that I don't want to work on that arm anymore. um, but I'll usually work out the pose and then figure out how to do anatomy and all that. Mm, I'm really not wanting to work on the arms. I'm feeling like I'm doing them backwards. I might be doing them backwards again. Am I? I don't know. Let me see when I finish this arm. I'm gonna just finish this arm really fast and see if I'm doing them backwards. Oh man, my stomach hurts. My dad's girlfriend is Korean, and whenever she cooks, she makes food for like 20 people. And like, they spend so much money on groceries because they'll spend, they'll buy like a week's worth of food and then she'll cook it all up in 2 days. And like, I kind of feel bad. I feel like that's backwards. Um, but I mean food. But I mean everything that she cooks is always Korean, and sometimes it's good, other times it's very repetitive. And right now my stomach is just hurting because just the things that she cooks. I mean, at least it's food. Okay, that arm is looking awkward. Um, Now it's not looking awkward. Now I don't know. I don't know anymore. It kind of looks short. I haven't drawn his crotch yet. That's probably why. I should draw his crotch. Then maybe it'll look better. Oh, almost made a mistake again. He is a stiff guy, though. So, I mean, I don't know. I'll fix up the arms later. Or maybe get fed up with this guy. Then we'll start working on a different image. Although I really, really want to do his ponytail. I love his ponytail. I don't know, I'm really awkward with pants. I remember when I first sketched this out on paper, I was only going for the head. I was only doing the head at first. Then I was like, you know what? I want to put the spear in his hand. So I had to do his chest and his arms and the spear and stuff. And then I was like, you know what? I want to go down and finish off the ponytail. So I went down to the hips. And I'm like, might as well just make it a full body. But by the time I started getting on the rest of the full body, I got so lazy I just didn't want to do the pants. So I just really fast sketched out just legs and feet, and I was like, eh, that's okay. I will deal with it later. And now future me is just like, ugh. Why didn't I deal with this before? Yep, I knew it happened. I'm done. I'm gonna stop working on him for a moment and switch over to this guy. First time try out a ferret. Not exactly sure how good it is, but I tried. His ears are cute though. I'm not gonna be drawing hentai anytime soon. Yeah, yeah, Chris is right. I mean, I did draw a few questionable pictures during high school, but I'm not doing that again. That was super embarrassing. It's not nameless. I'm sorry, sire. It's not nameless. Although it is good practice for me to draw nameless. This is actually Wanderer. He's from Dragon Sorcery. He's in chapter, I think, at the very end of chapter 2, and I think at the end of chapter 2. If not, he's in chapter 3. But he's one of the familiars of Adon. Um, he's usually in his human form, but I mean, he's a cute ferret, honestly. Uh, He's all silver colored and red eyes. And his sorcerer partner sang, um, very Chinese looking, cute kid, honestly. Uh, looks pretty young. They both look very young at the very beginning, but I mean, they make a good pair, honestly. I don't know. I've never drawn ferrets before, so I mean, if somebody has a suggestion while I'm lining this in, um, to make it look a bit better, because I know that the face is not that good. Excuse me, Chris. You are very rude. I love you, but you are rude. It is. Th- I mean, okay. This is how I draw mice. This is a mouse. That is a mouse. That is a cute mouse. I like that, honestly. I am very happy with that. I am very happy with that. There. That is a mouse with a heart. That is actually not as good as I was expecting when it was zoomed in. Um, yeah, no. I have no experience drawing mice. I don't have any mouse characters, so there's actually a lot of different animals that I don't have any characters of. Chubbier face? Like chubbier as in around the mouth or around the cheeks? So I can make it chubbier around the cheeks, but I mean, I don't have too much experience with making a chubby muzzle or anything. I will make a better mouse sprite and upload it to DeviantArt. Like, much better, honestly. I swear. It'll be better. And I will title it Mouse Fail. Honestly, your guys' comments never cease to amuse me. And I just realized I went silent again. Um, does anyone else have any other questions? I'm probably gonna get off in like 30 minutes because I'm not really feeling too good. I don't know. I can't usually live stream for too long. I've just decided that I don't want to draw this ferret anymore because of all the fur. Drawing for traditionally is one thing. Drawing for digitally is another. As they say in video games, you are not quite high enough level for that yet. Hmm. I also have Wraith right here, but I don't really want to draw Wraith right now. Wraith is made of ice, so that's going to be very difficult to do. I have enough pictures of Bakuhatsu, and I don't want to draw the claws. Shorter legs for the ferret. I can do that. Okay, so my stomach is making noises, not like hungry noises, but I'm in pain noises. So I'm probably gonna end up finishing up here very soon. Um, does anyone have any last minute questions or anything that they want to ask or talk about before? Oh my gosh. I mean, I'm not leaving yet. I'm probably going to be sticking around for the next like 3 to 5 minutes at least. I am not saying my breast size. Um, Size doesn't matter. Like, oh my gosh. Like, seriously, because it's the the way that the when you get bigger around, your breast size, even if your boobs are bigger, then they're oh my gosh. Even if your boobs are bigger than somebody else, they'll have a bigger cup size because they're skinnier. And that pisses me off. Like, honestly. Like, my sister, she has smaller boobs than me, and she's F cup. And it's like, are you kidding me? But because I'm bigger around than her, I'm smaller size than her. And no, I am not A cup. I used to be C cup, but now I'm either D or double D, depending on what kind of bra it is. Double D is a bit more comfy on me, though. There. You're welcome. Any other questions before I end the live stream? Nice. No. All right. Thank you everyone for watching the live stream here. I'm gonna be quitting it now. It was nice talking to you all. I'm sorry I couldn't have it be longer. Um, thanks for watching. Bye.